That's the second time I've done that this year. Good morning, everybody. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And last year in 2022 and also in 2021, part of a team that reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live January 6th, New Year 2023, but we are still here. Unfortunately, Ryan Knight will not be with us today, but he'll be back with us on Monday. And we're glad to have you here. Some of you may be still on holiday, some of you may not, but you're here. So that's the most important thing. So a few little things before we go into our conversation today. Now, for many of you, you may not have seen on Monday, but I had some nice wins on the last day of last year. Actually, in the last 2 hours of last year, I had two big wins. One of the wins is that for a number of weeks, I've been mentioning on all my platforms, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Please subscribe to my YouTube page. And people were sort of doing it, sort of not doing it. But about an hour and a half before the end of 2022, I'm going to show you what happened. We're going to bring it up on screen here. Dr. Vibe now has 1,032 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Broke the 1,000 barrier an hour before last year ended. Had a surge of people joining on the YouTube page. So I want to say thank you very much to that. And that doesn't mean I ain't going to stop asking. I'm going to keep on telling you. I want you to subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on the YouTube channel. Also, hit the notification button too, because when you hit the notification button, it alerts you to upcoming conversations that we are going to have. And also like it on the Facebook channel. So for those who have subscribed and done notification on the YouTube channel, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We're hitting now for 2,000, and we're not going to take as long. We're going to get it quicker because I've been told by people who know this stuff, your first 1,000 is the big challenge. After that, it will come quicker. So thank you for everyone who has supported. And if you're up to it, please support in the future. Some other things. I host a number of conversations. One of them is called Black Canada Talking, which is on every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And this Sunday, we have topic Black Canada 2022, Black Canada 2023, part 2. Last Sunday, I had Ryan Knight, who you see most of the time on here, and Cesar Nadima Musa talk about various subjects that impacted Black Canada past and what they see in the future. This Sunday, we have both of them back. Plus, we have Rosemary Sadler, who was the first president for a number of years on the Ontario Black History Society. Also, we have Jackie Kasandi, I hope I got her name right, who runs a Black entrepreneur organization out in Vancouver. And also we have L.A. Wade, who is a published author. So they're going to be coming and chopping it up on Sunday. So just want to tell you about that. And then on Monday morning, we have back on the Morning Vibe. Just recently, Toronto Mayor John Tory wants to boost the police budget by nearly $50 million, and a lot of it to hire more police. Some people are not happy about this. So one of the guests we're going to have on is one of my elders, Louis Marsh, going to be talking about that. That's another thing. And just one more thing also. You can join me on January 19th, February 2nd, and February 16th to talk all things podcasting. I'm going to be hosting a 3-part webinar, hour and a half each, for an organization called Innovation Guelph, which is based in Guelph, Ontario. They help small businesses and entrepreneurs grow their businesses. And they've asked me to host a 3-part series on podcasting. So if you have some time, check it out. Even if you register, I think they're going to give you access to the replay. So that is everything there. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the next. I'm not waiting for things to happen. I'm going to make things happen. But it is the first Friday. It's the first Friday of 2023. So last year, for a lot of the months, who we had on our first Fridays. Well, he is back. Wayne Harris is back. Good morning, Wayne Harris, for Financial First Fridays. How are you, Wayne?
I am excellent, Dr. Vibe. Happy New Year. Happy 2023 to you and yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how are you and the family doing?
It's last month I was here. I was talking to you and your viewers to send out positive vibes to my father. My father is still here. He's in Montreal, so shout out to him. He's doing his thing and hanging on.
Good. Well, I have him constantly in prayer, and we just want the best for him and the family. So thank you so much for sharing and keeping us an update on that. Did you have any time to relax over the holiday season?
No, sir. Do you know that we were trying to get to Montreal before Christmas, and for the first time that I can recall in history, the 401 eastbound was closed from Cobourg all the way to the Quebec border.
Why?
Over 400 kilometers of highway closed for 2 days because of blowing snow, freezing rain,
yes,
and everything else. So it was. Anybody who was out there, let me know, because I can tell you there were people who left December 23rd. They had to stop in Oshawa and get hotel rooms because the highway was closed.
You're kidding.
I kid you not.
Wow.
So we left Christmas morning. We left to go to Montreal and got there Christmas evening.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you got there safely.
Thank you.
Wow.
We rang in the new year back in Mississauga.
Okay. Good stuff. And we've got some people, some of the family joining here. Divine Right saying good morning, everyone from the DMV area. Happy New Year. She also says, yes, 1,030 subscribers. Congratulations. Well, you've been part of that effort, Divine Right. So thank you so much. And Alofina says, yes, skills development. Absolutely. And I see Tim Frey is here also. Morning, Mr. Frey. Well, it's a new year, but got to take care of the money all times of the year, Wayne.
100%. People should be coming off of their Christmas spending, and those Visa, MasterCard, Amex bills are coming in right about now. And they should be looking at what they did and what they could have done differently to put themselves in position to not have the massive amount of debt that Canadians are going to have right now. So the last number I have in my head for debt for the average Canadian is for every dollar they earn, $1.73 goes out to debt.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
What? I need to stay on that for a few seconds. And that's not going down, is it?
It's been going up. When I first started tracking it was $1.61, and now it's $1.73.
Holy smokes. Actually, one other thing I got to make people aware of, we are also giving away calendars, frequency event promotion calendars. So if you make a comment, you qualify for the frequency event promotion calendars. It's a calendar for 2023, promotes various Black businesses. So I just wanted to put that in. So sorry about that, Wayne.
I like that.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want people to understand this. And I was talking to some young men, 16, 17 years old during the holidays, and I said to them, "Do you understand what inflation is?" And they go, "We keep hearing this. It's going up, and we don't know what it means." I said, "So think about this for a second. Think about having $100." And they go, "Okay." Now take that $100 and put it in your mattress or in your drawer or in your sock or in a Nike shoebox for 12 months. They go, "Okay." I said, "Now take that money out of the box. And when you go to use it, rather than buying $100 worth of items and goods, you can only buy $92 of goods." And they went, "I understand."
They get it.
Right?
They get it.
So they
Wow.
they get it. I said, and the longer you keep it in your mattress, the less it's going to be worth over time. And
Mm,
sometimes it's going to be worth less faster, which is what's
mm.
happening now. So when I think back to 2021, right around this time, we had a chance to fix our mortgages, lock in at lower rates, but no one knew what was coming. Well, I was listening to the radio today and heard that they're looking at another interest rate hike
Oh
on
yeah.
January 25th.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So the Canadian government is trying to beat back inflation by raising interest rates, which will stop people from doing things that will cause inflation to rise, according to theory. But people just continue
To
to
spend.
spend. Case in point, for the last 2 days, people have been very vexed about Loblaw having this $37 chicken,
I saw someone told me about that yesterday.
right?
God.
37 bucks for 5 pieces of boneless, skinless, organic, no hormone chicken. Honestly, it's cheaper to go to Swiss Chalet
well,
and get the
I
family
always
meal.
I always cook my own anyways. I don't get the thing because you and I are old enough. When they had their Christmas dinners, it was $9.99.
Correct.
It's what, $16.99 now?
Right. That's called inflation. Right. So 2023, brand new start. If you hit your goals in 2022, fantastic. If you didn't hit your goals in 2022, I really want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1: where am I now? Where am I now? Take a look at what's going on in your life on all fronts, not just on the financial front, but on the spiritual front, on the family front, on the financial front, on the fitness front, and on the fun front. So the 5 F's, spiritual, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? Rate yourselves, put it in the chat. While you're doing that, ask yourself the second question: where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? If here is good enough, then here is good enough. But where do I want to go? Do I want to level up in 2023? And the next important question: how do I get there from here? Right? How do I get there from here? A lot of people don't have it figured out. Now, are there resources out there to get that figured out? Sure. Most people will not do that, and they will enlist someone who has those skills to shorten the time between where they are and when they can get value for where they want to go. So that's why you bring in someone like myself and someone like my team. Go ahead.
Just want to interrupt because I want to catch up with the comments, and also I want to take a moment to put those questions on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So just going to do some catching up. So Adolfino goes, yes, a time for self-reflection. Those numbers are scary. I think she was talking about the $1 versus $1.73. Ray McMillan from the McMillan Group, one of our continuous Monday sponsors. Congratulations on the YouTube milestone, Dr. Vlad. Continue to go. Well, you're part of that growth. I do not do it alone. Thank you very much. Divine Right, even though they're Canadian numbers, she wants you to say those numbers again, because maybe it'd be interesting to see what it'd be in the US. Maybe next time you come on, you can do a comparison. Right. But can you give that number again?
Right. For every dollar a Canadian earns, they are in debt $1.73.
There you go.
Not spending, it's debt.
All right. Okay. Arlie McDonald goes, these are scary numbers. All right. Darcy says, good morning and happy new year all. Great to see you here again, Wayne. Continue spreading the good news. Love working with you. Prayers up for your father and your family.
Thank you, Derace. You're awesome. Thank you, everybody, for the comments.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And I just bear with me, folks. I'm going to put up the questions that Wayne said that you need to consider. First of all, where are you now? Actually, I'll put up on the, I know I did the different, I'm going to do it a different way. So let me just, I sent it out to everybody. I'll just put up on the screen, makes it easier. First question. Where are you now? Faith, family, finance, fun, and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. So family, this is my experience, because when I was first starting doing this stuff, I couldn't do this in real time. So right. I am multi-purposing here. Where do I want to go?
Where do I want to go? Yeah. Where do I want to go?
And then the final conversation piece is, let's just put it up here. Okay, let me just put the lowercase o.
How do I get from here to there?
How do I get there? Well, you put it this way. That's what I was. How do I get from there from here? There you go. So those are the three questions Wayne gave people. So if you haven't got to where you want to go, you should be considering those questions regardless. So
exactly.
Continue on, Wayne.
No, thank you. Because we're human beings, we don't want to look at finances in isolation. You know, and I know that people who win the lottery within 5 years of winning any amount of money are usually right back where they were before they won the money, because the first thing they do is go out and spend the money. And if you spend the money as a lottery winner, the money never has another chance to grow. In Canada, we get the money tax-free. In the US, they pay taxes on lottery wins. But in Canada, you get the money. You win $1 million, you get $1 million in Canada. You win $1 million in the States, you might get $600,000 after taxes. So in Canada, we're very, very blessed to have the fact that we can take $1 million cash tax-free and do whatever we want with it. And most people will go out and buy a house, buy a car, and buy consumption things. But did you know that if you took that money, even at 6%, it's going to kick off $60,000 a year, which is probably what most people who play the lottery make or less. And if it could kick off $60,000 a year and you could still have the $1 million, why wouldn't you just have the $1 million invested and live off the 60 that you were living off before? Now, if you can get better than 6%, then you can make even more money and do even more things and still have the $1 million. You get your house, you get your car, you get your rollie, you get your vacation, and you still have $1 million. So there's some things that people need to look at. So let's talk about this time of year, you know, the brand new calendar year, brand new fiscal year for some businesses. And it's also RRSP season in Canada. And RRSP is a registered retirement savings plan. And this is where you can take money and put it in a registered account, and you can defer taxes. Not eliminate taxes, defer taxes. What does that mean? It means you can hide the money from taxes for now, and later on in life, those taxes will have to be paid. But in the meantime, while you're young, you can put that money into these accounts and reduce your income by the marginal tax bracket that you're in at that time that you put the money in. So let's say you make $100,000, and let's say you're in a 40% tax bracket. You can, if you put $10,000 in, you're gonna get $4,000 back, which is not bad, right? You take that $4,000, you can go use it for debt. You can go use it to put it into a tax-free savings account, which is actual tax-free. So in the United States, I believe you guys have the Roth IRA, which kind of is the same thing that we have in Canada with the tax-free savings account. In the US, you have your 401k, which is the same thing as our RRSP up here, give or take. So the RRSP, for people who make, honestly, if you make more than $75,000, $80,000, it makes sense. If you make less than that, what you're going to get back in tax return is not going to be significant, but it's still an ability for you to create your own personal pension above and beyond what the Canadian government is going to give you. So you're going to get Canada Pension Plan when you hit 60 or 65. You can take it early at 60 years old. Take it the regular time at 65. You can delay it to 70 years old. Really depends on you. Earlier you take it, the less you get. Take it when you're supposed to take it at 65, you get what you get. Take it at 70, you get more than you're going to get at 65 because you're going to pay it out over a shorter period of time because of mortality. So RRSP season, you have till March 1st to put money in against your 2022 income. So I'll say it again. You have till March 1st, 2023 to put money into RRSP for your 2022 earnings. This is a big deal because it means that even if you miss the boat December 31st, you can still put money in now and get a decent tax return back depending on your income for last year. All right. So in that window, if you don't know what you're doing with that, reach out to me. 2, there's something called RRSP loan. So if you do not have the money, but you want to put a lump sum in $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, you can get an RRSP loan. Take the money for the loan, go get the RRSP. Once you get the RRSP, it's going to reduce your income when you're paying taxes in April. So now you've got your tax return, go use the tax return, pay back the loan, as much of it as possible, and pay that by the drip because what you're going to pay in interest will be much less than what you're going to get in terms of the tax savings. So it might make sense if you're making enough money to get an RRSP loan. Okay, this is good. Any questions about that, Dr. Vibe? Are you cool with that?
I got some comments, and some comments, as always, have come in. So let's catch up with those. Divine Right saying, trying to get all the F's together. I know I need to love with my fitness, finances, and fun. Family is good, but we can use some work. She says, faith is good and need to keep remembering that God always has my back. Aldofina says, gems. Divina says, I have a friend who won the Powerball years ago. Thankful for his parents, sat with him and worked out a plan. He invested a lot of it, and this was over 20 years ago. He grew that money. And also, Fitnance IQ Cam, who's a big fan of yours, says, morning, gentlemen. I'll let you continue on. I've got some things I want to bounce off of you. I think some standard things that people should be doing, but I'll let you continue on.
Okay, perfect. So the next thing people want to look at in 2023, as you get all those credit card bills and all those don't pay a cent Leon event things that are now coming due, what you want to do is look at what debt you have. So we talked about this a little while ago, and we want to look at 2 methods of looking at your debt. One is what is charging you the most interest. If it's charging you the most interest, that means it's working against you the fastest. So you may want to get rid of that highest interest debt first and foremost. The second thing is which one has the highest balance. If it has the highest balance, you may want to get rid of that first just to have peace of mind. I like attacking the higher interest rate because the higher the interest rate, the worse it is for you faster. So for me, if I have 2 debts and one is 5,000, the other is 5,000, one is charging me 19.9, the other is charging me one of these TFING payday loan interest rates somewhere north of 40%, I got to get rid of the payday loan as quickly as possible, right? If I have a choice between the two. 19 is bad, 40 is worse.
Worse.
Okay.
Worse. There's a question here from Don G. Good morning, Dr. Vibe and Wayne. Is an RSP the best and or only way to save for your retirement?
Great question, Don G. Thank you for that. I can tell you this, the RSP is not the only way to save for your retirement. In Canada, as a T4 employee, an employee who has the employer file taxes for them, you're not self-employed, you are an employee, you have the RRSP to defer taxes and reduce your taxable income. You also have the TFSA, tax-free savings account, which you can take after-tax money, put into this registered account, and never pay tax on the money that you put in or what you earn on that money ever again, with no trigger like the RRSP, which has a trigger at 71, which becomes a registered retirement income fund. You have to take the money out and the government will tax it. The TFSA can stay in there forever. Third thing you can do is you can have a cash value permanent life insurance policy, which allows you to put after-tax dollars into a life insurance policy that's going to generate cash value and potentially a dividend. And if it generates cash value and a dividend, all the money in the policy is tax-free while it grows. If you want access to the money, how you access it could cause a taxable event or could not. If you borrow against the money in the policy, no tax. If you take the money out of the policy, it becomes income. And in Canada, Dr. Vibe, after the word income, what's always the second word after income in this country?
Tax.
Tax. So we do not want to take income out of the policy unless we're in such a low tax bracket that it doesn't matter. If you're really in your 60s and 70s and 80s and you don't have a big income coming in and you want to take the money out of the policy and your tax bracket is low enough, it probably will make sense at that point. But right now, young people, I'm going to give you a word. And this word should be the word for the rest of your life after you hear today. Here's the word: compounding. Compound. You want your interest to compound. You want your money to compound. You want your health to compound. So when you think about the 5 F's, faith, finance, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, when you go to the gym on January 1st, like everybody else who went to the gym on January 1st or January 2nd, you don't see results in January. You may not see results in February or March. But if you don't go, you'll see no results. But in April, you will start to see results because of the compounding of January, February, and March, right? Most people give up before the compounding shows physical evidence, right? Before they lose a pound, they say it's not working and they're out. You can't do one set of bench press a year and expect it to make a difference in your body. In the same way, you can't invest money into the market on Monday and expect it to double on Tuesday. I was just watching with my son the Bernie Madoff story on Netflix. It's a 4-part or 5-part series about how this guy took $19 billion of people's money and wiped out everyone except for a few people. And people were looking for these returns that were way beyond anything that should make sense for that level of risk. And what I'm trying to do for people is let them know, even at 7%, your money is going to double every 10 years. So you put $20,000 in, it will double to 40 every 10 years. So if you're 30 years old and you have $40,000, at 40, you will have 80,000. At 50, you'll have 160. At 60, you will have 320.
This is
even
good.
at 7%. Talk to me.
We got some good things going here. So Maxine says, yes, RSP works great. And then Earl says there is a limitation on what you can invest in the TFSA. Also, you can be taxed.
Okay, so Earl, you are correct on the limitations. So when you have the ability to go back in time with the tax-free savings account to 2009, when it was created by the then conservative government and Stephen Harper. 2009 is when the TFSA came to the table, and it allowed you to put in, I think, $11,000, and they kept changing the limits every year. When Trudeau came in, the first thing he did was cut the limit down to like $5,000, And now we've worked our way back up to the new limit for 2023, which is $6,500 a year. But you can go backwards in time to 2009. If you were 18 years old and in Canada, you can go back to 2009, which means you could put over $88,000 into a TFSA today and not be worried about it. If you put anything in above the limit, they're going to tax you until you get it out of there. So it's as if you didn't put it in. Okay, so you got about 88,000. It was 81.5. Now you put another 6,500. I think it's $88,000 you can put into a tax-free savings account if you were 18 in Canada in 2009 until 2023. You can do that. So those of you who were not 18 in 2009, do the math. You can do that on the Canada website, the canada.ca. But if you were 18 in 2009, and I know I was, I can go all the way back to 2009 and max it out. Now, in terms of taxing, once you go above a certain amount of money in the TFSA, as of right now, that money is tax-free. So, Earl, you're going to have to show me what you're talking about as to why you believe that you earn beyond a certain amount in the TFSA, why you think it's going to be taxable. I know Trudeau was talking about that, but I don't know if that's in place today. I'm happy to defer to you on that one, but I don't think it's taxable.
That's Krista Freeland's wheelhouse these days, because she's, I think, the finance person these days for the government. A few things, Fitnance, you're one of your big fans, CRA online account tells you.
Yep.
And also, and Maxine saying Wayne is correct. You can see your limit on the ARC website. There you go. Man, there's a lot of stuff. This is good. Wayne loves this interaction. Divine Right has a question. I'm gonna hold off for just a second. But Wayne, periodically, banks will send people the offer to increase their credit limit on their credit card.
Yes.
And we're talking about credit, especially at this time of year, people getting all those bills. What is your thought process if someone gets one of those notifications, say, hey, we'd like to increase your credit card limit $3,000?
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yeah, great question. Depends on who you are. If you are Joe Undisciplined, I would not accept that credit card increase. If you're Sally Disciplined, then I would accept that credit card limit. Why? Because the banks only want you to have their money or access to their money if they believe you can service it. So getting a credit limit increase is a good thing if you're a disciplined spender. If you're undisciplined, it's just going to put you in more trouble. So case in point, you want to keep your utilization, which is the amount of money that you have on your credit card balance. Ideally, you should pay your credit cards off every month. You should carry zero balance, let the banks make $0 on you. But in the event that you cannot do that, your goal to have your credit score not drop significantly is to keep your utilization on the amount of your balance at less than 30% of the available limit. So if you have a $10,000 limit on your card, you do not want to have more than $3,000 on that card, or your credit score is going to drop. So imagine now you are now at $4,000 on a $10,000 limit. You're at 40% utilization. Your credit score is going to drop. Then the bank says, hey, I'd like to give you a $3,000 limit increase. If they give you a $3,000 limit increase, that's $13,000. But 30% of $13,000 is about $4,000. Your utilization goes to where it's supposed to be, and your credit score will jump in the positive direction. So good. Right? So if you're carrying a balance, but you're disciplined about it, and you're paying much more than the minimum payment, and you can service that, take the limit increase. Sally Disciplined, take the limit increase. Joe, I'm going to pop bottles at the club every Friday night and pay the minimum balance, or not even that, and not pay it on time. Do not take the credit card limit, for the simple reason that it's not going to help you. It's just going to put you in more trouble faster. Okay. So it depends on who you are.
Yep. Okay? Good. Thank you. Fitness IQ Camp says the only thing that's taxed in the TFSA, I believe, is when you have American or foreign dividends in in it, and they are withheld tax. Do you know that?
Yeah, so this is for the self-directed investor who's investing in things outside of Canada. All things in Canada are all goodness. When you are going to do things outside of Canada, you're going to get these foreign rules that apply to you that most people don't talk about. So you could have a fund that has a portion of it American, and that portion might be taxable down the road. It really depends on what kind of dollars you're talking about and what kind of money, because you have capital gains, capital losses. You have a lot of things you can do to offset those charges if you're working with a professional, and you have a good tax person working with you, because there's losses you can carry forward. A bunch of different things we can do. I'm not an accountant, but there are things you can do to offset that. But you could be correct about that. Most
All
people,
right,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Most
That's
people,
you
most
saying.
people, that's not an issue because they don't have enough income coming from the TFSA for that to be an issue.
She also adds, Fitness Camp says, or if you day trade in your TFSA, which you're not advised to do so, that's where you need a non-registered account.
Right.
All right.
Okay. So
Wow, the things are flying in today. Hey, I don't. So these are one of the conversations. Is Wayne going to get through what he want to get through, or does
no,
he
it's
want to
okay.
answer all the
This
questions?
is how we want it to go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Like this.
So
Let me tell you this. There's three
oh,
accounts you can have as an individual investor. Account
okay.
number one, you can have the RRSP. You can do it yourself. You can have someone do it for you. You have a TFSA. You can do it yourself or have someone do it for you. The third is a non-registered account, which means there's no tax deferral. You're going to pay tax on whatever you earn in that account every year. So the RSP will hide money from the government properly. The TFSA will hide money from the government properly. The non-registered account is fully exposed and you pay tax to that every year. Those are your three accounts. And whether you do it yourself or have someone do it for you is up to you and what your superpowers are versus what the advisor's superpowers are. It's up to you. Go ahead, Dr. Vet.
Okay. No problem. I'm going to put this question up, but I, in a way, don't want to answer because I want her to reach out to you directly, because that's a whole appointment question itself. But Divine Right says, what if you're starting over and close to 50? What are really good strategies to save? Divine Right, I'm going to ask you to book an appointment with Wayne, whether it's for yourself or someone else, because that's a whole appointment in itself.
Fair.
Would you
Fair.
agree,
Fact.
Wayne?
I agree.
You know,
I agree. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I can tell you this. When I was in my 20s and going to Humber College, shout out to Humber College North Campus. When I was doing Humber College, no one was talking to me about this. So the $100 or $200 a month that was going to be tough for me to put away, but I could have put away 50. I could have put away 50. And we had some great markets during those times in the early 90s. I could have done that, but no one told me. So I really started investing properly in my 30s and 40s. And while I was paying for this for the kids and paying that for the house and buying cars and buying suits and doing all these crazy things so I could walk up and down Bay Street for my job, I was not putting in the kind of money I should have been putting in. But let me tell you, you may not be able to get the compounding that someone who is a baby or a teenager can do. But if you make better decisions than they do, and you find things at your risk tolerance that will get you to where you want to go, you can still win. Because what's the alternative? Don't do anything and depend on Trudeau and the government for the rest of your life in your senior years. Go become a Walmart greeter. Nothing wrong with Walmart greeting, right? Become a security guard, or nothing wrong with that. It's a decent, it's honorable work. Or you could retire in comfort and never see snow again in the winter and be gone from, November till April every year, somewhere warm, somewhere different every year. Really depends on what you want and what your lifestyle is. So that's something that we can definitely talk about
Okay.
Where am I now? Where do I want to go? And how do I get from here to there? These are the three questions I will ask you one-on-one, and then we'll come up with a plan on how that's possible in a way that you will not freak out every night. You'll be able to sleep at night with what your money is doing because you're at your level of risk tolerance, not mine.
Okay. So Divine Right is being open with us, says, this is for me. I will book an appointment. I'm going to hold you to that, Divine Right. Now, just a heads up, she's located in the DMV US wise. So just a heads up, but I'm sure you can advise her or get her
Yep.
just in contact with someone who can help her.
I've got some great colleagues. When I hear DMV, what are we talking about?
That's Virginia. District
Virginia.
of
Okay, so this is a District of Columbia, Maryland,
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
DMV.
I have advisors in Maryland and DC that are Wakandan that will take care of business
Okay.
for you, Divine. I got you.
Okay. So make sure you book that appointment, Divine. I'm counting on you. I got your back. Wayne and I got your back, especially Wayne. And he's trying to get me to have part of his back too, which is an offline conversation. But Wayne, the comments are flying here. So we're just going to roll. I know this is the way we like doing it. So now this is a question, especially with your previous background. Will the increase in credit card limit not make you vulnerable to cybersecurity threats?
Great question, Charles. That really depends on you and the company you're dealing with. Cybersecurity is something I did for 25 years before I pivoted into financial services. So what we're looking at is risk mitigation. What company are you with, and what are the means of authenticating, which is proving that you are you when you're doing a transaction? One of the ways to do that is when someone in Canada comes to you with a machine, a point of sale machine, they come to your table and you use the machine in front of them, which is fantastic. The machine will ask you for a PIN or ask you to swipe. You got to insert the card. You'll tap under $100 and you can make your limit on your card $100. So no one can tap your card and get more than $100. Even if you have $1 million limit on your credit card, the tap will only allow $100 a day. Okay? You can set that up. You just have to call. Second thing is you can do is say, no matter what, no more than $1,000 on this card at any given time, or you have to call to verify it's me. You can set that up. The third thing you can do is you have a PIN. So you have a chip and PIN. So the chip says the card is in your hand. The PIN says something you are, something you have is the card. Something you are is the PIN. So the PIN says 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have both, then it's me. If you give your PIN to somebody, that's your business, right? Here's what I recommend to everyone on this call. Tap off your debit card. The reason I say this is because credit, you cancel the card, they'll give you a new one, fraud department will take care of business, and they'll business as usual. Debit is your money gone out of your account, not their money from their account that you're using, which is a credit card. It's your money, and that investigation can take weeks and months, and you may never get that money back. So I took tap off my debit card, and honest to God, unless I'm at a West Indian restaurant that doesn't take credit, right? I use my credit card daily. Why? Because I get points for it, right?
Yep.
Cash back and different things,
Yep.
travel points depending on the card. Whoever's going to give me more points for gas and for food and for movies and whatnot, I use the appropriate card to get the maximum value, and then I pay the bill off. I do not use my debit card unless I'm absolutely forced to, and I never use a third-party debit machine. So when you go to that West Indian restaurant,
no, I don't use those. No, I don't use those at all.
And they say
no.
cash or debit, and you say, well, they say there's a machine over there in the corner, some dusty machine in the corner with grease stains. I don't use that machine. I say, listen, hold my food. I will drive in my car, go to my TD bank, take out my money from my TD bank, come back and pay.
Yep.
I do not use debit machines in clubs, in restaurants, in grocery store. Don't do it.
No, those look they look suspicious just before so I don't want to feel good. Okay, let's great comment here from David Hughes all the way from Australia, who's been a longtime supporter of Dr. Vibe, saying this is very good information and critical advice.
All right, Ozzy.
Yes.
He knows the answer.
Yeah, Maxine says most credit card as free protection against that. It's unfortunate, but they will refund money stolen. Don G says, I forgot to say Happy New Year. Wayne, do term life insurance policies come with the cash value with dividends, or do only whole life policies come with that option?
Great question, Don G. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Term life policies do not come with any cash value whatsoever. A term life insurance policy should be used for getting a lot of insurance at a low cost. And here's a stat you need to understand. 84% of term policies never pay. 84%.
Wow.
Why? Because you have to die during the 10, 20, 30, or 40 years you have the policy. If you do not die during that time, the policy doesn't pay. If you miss a payment, the policy will cancel after 30 days. So you can pay the policy for 17 years or 20 years, miss a payment for 30 days, and they will say you can come back into the policy, but at your age 17 years older, not the age you bought the policy at 17 years ago.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I leverage term policies for things like mortgages. You got a $500,000 mortgage, you get a $500,000 term policy for the duration of the mortgage. 25-year mortgage, 25-year term. 15-year mortgage, 15-year term. 10-year mortgage, 10-year term. The cost per $1,000 of insurance used in a term policy is always going to be cheaper than mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance is for those people who have a house, you want the mortgage paid off. If something should happen to you during the time that you have the mortgage, people will get mortgage insurance. And the banks make buku, which means a lot of money in mortgage insurance. Here's the problem with mortgage insurance. The underwriting for mortgage insurance is done after you die. So if you die from something the bank doesn't like, they may not pay. The underwriting for term policies is done before the policy is in place. So if you get approved, you're approved. So term has a place, and term is a very powerful tool to get a lot of insurance for a low cost. You got 15, well, not 15, you have 3 or 4 properties, and you have mortgages on those properties. Cheaper for you to get term insurance to cover all those mortgages. So should something happen to you, your better half will have mortgage-free properties, because you're going to have to pay capital gains on the growth of those properties. You buy a house in Toronto for $150,000 in a Danforth in 1990. Now the house is worth $1.7 million. You still have a mortgage on it for $600,000. You die, you pay capital gains on the $600,000. Right? Oops. So now your wife or husband has to come up with $600,000, or they have to sell the property. Or you have a term policy, just takes care of the mortgage, takes care of the taxes, and you're good to go. Okay.
Wow.
So term policies have no cash value. Term policies have a place usually to cover mortgages, or to give people who want to get some insurance for their families, and the cash value policies are too expensive on a monthly basis. They can get a term policy for a lot of coverage for a low price, and then they can convert some of that term to permanent insurance over time. So you can have $1 million of term insurance, you have $100,000 of whole life or universal life, and you can have a hybrid, permanent as well as term in one policy. You can do both.
Okay. How much time do you have? Because I have a feeling I'm before even the top. I'd say I'm smelling bonus time. How much time do you have comfortably?
I'm good, buddy. Let's go.
Okay. All right. I know, and I know when we talk flying with this is what he absolutely loves. This is where he thrives. The rapid fire that you can see, he comes in with great energy, and you can tell it's only going higher. So let's go. So Divine Rick goes, yeah, I want to retire in comfort and avoid cold weather at all costs. Wayne can help you. All right.
100%.
Don G says, also, what is better if you don't own a home yet? I don't know what she means by that question, but maybe you can help out on that one.
So it sounds like Don G is looking at term insurance but doesn't own a home. I would say you want to get insurance as soon as humanly possible at a rate you can afford. What do I mean by that? It means that if you can't afford a infinite banking account, which is a whole life policy or a universal life policy, where you can become your own bank and borrow from yourself and do investments for anything you want, school, car, house, whatever you want to do. You basically want to have that policy in place now, because you can have something called guaranteed convertibility. What does that mean? It means you can take a term policy and convert it to a permanent policy without any medical. So that means you could be terminal and you can convert to a permanent policy with zero medical. So if you have a term policies are not bad, depends on what you're using it for. But if you have a term policy, get that policy now at this age. Women are less expensive than men for insurance. Smokers are more expensive than non-smokers. People with pre-existing conditions are more expensive than people who are healthy. So we want to lock in your health, lock in your youth, lock in your price so that you can move forward with insurance being a part of your financial plan. Go ahead, Dr. Vite.
All right, next up, Ray saying, yeah, the best time to start investing is right now. If you have an opportunities may be different, but still there. In crisis, there's always opportunity, perhaps more so. And Divine Right says, talked about, it's DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's the DMV. Just explaining, She goes, also saying, yes, all right, I'm heading to Wakanda to get my money. LOL. Thanks, Wayne.
Perfect.
Alfina goes, Wakanda forever. Welcome to Dr. Tachi, and co-producer of Mediascope, livest program about media tech pop culture on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. I'm not going to go through all the platforms, Dr. Tachi, because all the different things. Don G has another great question. Is it better to save your money on a life insurance policy and invest on your own, or to pay for a whole life policy that has cash value with dividends?
Great question. So better to save your money on a life insurance policy. So the life insurance policy really gives you a guaranteed return on cash value and gives you the possibility for dividends. And the dividends do not have market exposure. So what does it mean? It means the insurance company is buying airports, seaports, bridges. They're buying big infrastructure deals that are going to yield a dividend. And if those dividends come in, what we notice is the dividends are not guaranteed, but they have always paid, in the companies I work with, north of 5%. So here's a zero risk, no market exposure, 5 to 6% return. And one company has never had a dividend not pay, has never not paid, and has never paid less than 6%. So think about that. 72 divided by 6 means that every 12 years, the money will double. It's never failed to pay. So if you're looking at things with insurance, we're looking at guarantees. We're looking at set it and forget it with a whole life policy. Put the money in, pay for a period of time. The money will be there, has never not been there in 85 years, but it's not guaranteed. With a universal life policy, you can play to get more than a 6% return because you're in control. Whole life policy, you have no control, but they get you 6%. Universal life policy, you control. You could get 15, 17, 19%, which is what we were getting up until COVID with some of our universal life policies. Term policy, zero cash value, just a face value on death benefit. That's the difference between the three.
All right. And Divine Right loves Don G's question, but Divine Right also has a question. Wayne, I have a loved one that refuses to get a credit card. How can he build his credit, or is there a piece of advice I can give him to get one?
Yeah, great question. If this person doesn't want a credit card because they don't trust themselves, because they're undisciplined, they can get themselves a secure card. So go get a credit card at the bank, take your $500 or your $1,000 and put it on the card, and that card will have a $1,000 limit. So you get a secured card, put $1,000 of your money, give it here. Here's my $1,000. I'm going to use $1,000 on your credit card to establish my credit. And that way I can't get myself in trouble beyond $1,000 because it's a secure card. Once they see and you see that you have the discipline to use the card properly, then they may take the security off the card, keep it at $1,000 limit, and see how you roll. Again, worst case scenario, you can get yourself into $1,000 worth of debt. The other thing someone can do is, if you're willing, you can take your credit and wrap it around somebody else by giving them a credit card under your credit to help them establish their credit and make sure that card is a $500 or $1,000 card with no security. But if that $1,000 card isn't paid, it's on you. So
All right. All
it
right.
depends on how much you love that person, how much you love your own credit.
Fit Nance IQ Cam just yes, dusty machine.
She's
Or
been
we
to that
said
restaurant
dirty
too.
machine, dirty
Dirty. She's been to that.
machine.
Yeah, she's been to that place too.
Ray says great advice on removing tap. We'll do that immediately.
Yeah, just call them.
Maxine loves that advice also. And Don G saying, so I'm assuming you advise that I get a whole life policy instead, Don G is saying, and says,
I don't assume anything, Don. Book me for an appointment. We'll see where you're at
yeah,
and what's required, and we'll go from there.
okay. And David from Australia says, must get my beauty sleep doctor vibe. Great to see you again. Happy New Year to you and Wayne. See you next time. Thank you from your support from Australia. That is wonderful. Alafina has a question. What about young first-time home buyer strategies?
Yes. Mr. Trudeau has come up with a first-time buyer program where he has the ability for you to use your RRSP to use it as a down payment on a house. So you can get up to $35,000 in RRSP and use that money for a down payment, and he will not charge you taxes for using your RRSP money. He gives you 15 years to pay back the money into the RRSP. So you have to pay back 1/15 of the amount you borrowed every year for 15 years to avoid paying taxes. If you do not pay back the 1/15, you will pay taxes on that money because he's assuming you're using it for something else other than a house. The other thing is there's a first-time buyers program that has been announced but has not been put into effect, which is going to give first-time buyers the ability to save $40,000 on top of the first-time buyers program. So you got $75,000 available to you, but Trudeau has not fully explained how that program works. It's coming. When it comes out, I'll do a show just on that, maybe, or include it in the details of the show. It's supposed to come out very, very soon. I'm hoping spring of this year for the spring market for first-time buyers.
And
Good question.
I'll also piggyback onto that for the Aldafina, you're a regular family here. Also, Ray McMillan knows a lot about mortgages. He's on every month also, so he would be actually another great person to get suggestions. So he comes on, every month to do that. Divine Rights thanks you for that advice with the person who doesn't want to take a credit card, saying they are disciplined but they don't trust credit cards. They operate a lot on cash. I will tell him about the secure card. There you go. Dr. Chatsy says, great advice. Hayden says, RBC told me that they had to take their mortgage insurance. Is it a bank policy that you have to take their insurance?
Yeah. Tell RBC that you'll go to TD if they insist on getting mortgage insurance, and it will disappear from the requirement.
Nice. And Don Jesus says thank you for explaining that, Wayne. She appreciates that. Ray has a question. Are there term riders still offered on UL and whole life policies?
Great question. So term rider. So what you want to do, I call it a hybrid. So we give you a base foundational amount of permanent insurance locking in your youth, your health. Let's say $100,000 of permanent insurance. And then we'll give you $900,000 of term on top of that policy as a rider. So you got $1 million worth of coverage, 900,000 of which will disappear when the mortgage is gone, but 100,000 is growing cash value for your entire life. And usually my policies, I don't have you paying them for the rest of your life. I will stop them in 20 years or 65 to age 65, depending on how old you are. So you're not paying these things when you're retired. I do not want you paying insurance premiums out of your CPP and OAS if I can get these things wrapped up in a bow and have coverage for the rest of your life without you having to pay a premium after age 65 or 70, depending on how old you are when you come into the solution.
All right. Aldafina's going gems. Right. Well, I think we're caught up. Is there any? I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to get into today?
Yeah. Listen.
Listen.
I
this
want
is
people.
Good, man.
No, this is good. It's fire
really
today.
Good.
It's fire. I love it.
Yeah,
This is how I look forward so much. Like, I remember you asking me, "Do you want to do this thing in 2023?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, buddy! Look at this. It's amazing." Right? You're like, why would I not want to do this? So a couple of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about filing taxes. I'm meeting a lot of people that are backed up on their taxes, 1 and 2 and 3 years of not paying their taxes. Listen, get yourself up to date. I'm not saying if you have a simple tax situation, maybe H&R Block is for you. But you got a little more complicated situation, get yourself a good accountant. They're worth their weight in gold to get this thing
Yes.
set up properly and get that done. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to look at your investments. Some of you have worked for companies that had pensions and the money is
Can
sitting
you?
there.
I want to interrupt you because Hayden has a good. You're reading his mind. How do you factor in inflation in your future investment returns?
Correct. So this is where when a man was making 7% on his money 2 years ago and inflation was at 2%, you were making 5% real rate of return. So 7% is the rate of it. 7% is what you're earning. 2% is what inflation is. 7 minus 2 is 5%. That's what you were really making after inflation. Well, now inflation is 6.9%. You're making 7%. Well, you're making 0.3%. You're making the same as a savings account in the bank. But for those of you making less than 7%, you're underwater. There's no real rate of return. So what I do with my clients is every 6 months or annual review at a minimum, sit down and talk to them and say, hey, which is my next question, review your investments. 6 months to a year. Everything you have, whether you control it yourself or some pension or some other entity is controlling it, let's take a look and do tail of the tape and see where you're at and see what we can do to move that money so it can actually do what it's supposed to do. Your money is supposed to work as hard for you as you worked to get it. Your money is supposed to work as hard for you or harder than what it took for you to work to get it. Okay? And then the last thing is, so we're going to file our taxes, right? We're going to contribute to our RSP if it makes sense. Talk to an advisor. 2, we're going to pay off debt while we're investing in our RSPs and our TFSAs. We're not waiting for those things to be paid off because it could be years. So we need to do both concurrently. Invest while paying off bad debt at the same time. Okay? We're going to file our taxes, go backwards 2-3 years and get that done because you really can't enjoy a lot of the government programs until you're up to date. Can't buy a house, can't do anything until your taxes are up to date. So let's get that done. If you need a recommendation, reach out to me. Review your investment.
I have someone to too. So yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, listen, review your investments. Whether I did the investments for you or somebody else, I can show you how to read your statement of an investment. How long you've had the money in, how the money has been doing, what the fees are, all those things that people say they don't understand. Just book me, I'll do it. No cost. And the last thing is estate plan. 2023 just started. I'm dealing with a very, very serious situation with my father in Montreal, but let me tell you, we go into this situation knowing that his time might be short. But my sisters and I have 3 things that most people don't have. He has a will, up to date, notarized and signed. He has a power of attorney, up to date, notarized and signed for his banking. He has a health directive, notarized and signed. If he can't defend himself because he's in a coma or he can't talk, my sister and I have the authority to make those decisions and we know what his wishes are. If you don't have those 3 documents in place, I can help you get that done in every province except for Quebec and Nunavut. But if you're anywhere else in Canada, I got you. For those in the States, my guy has got you. Quebec, I can't do it. We're looking to have Quebec ready for the second quarter of the year. So April, May, June timeframe, I'll be able to do the estate plans in Quebec as well because they're civil code and we are common law.
It's different.
It's different. Yep. But if you don't have an estate plan, trust me when I tell you, you need to get that in place because not having it in place makes life so much more difficult to make moves and involves lawyers and money and time. Listen, I've my wills, when people do business with me, free of charge. Free will, free living will, free power of attorney. You just have to do business with me.
Yeah, but
go take it to
can anyone push back that offer? It's like that is amazing. Some more comments here. We're in bonus time. Ray, and he had experience in the banking industry before. Lenders can't force you to take one product from them in order to have another. It's called tied selling and illegal.
Correct. Thank you,
Big
Ray.
time.
Listen, Ray and I, we need to work together because I'm trusting.
Yeah, you guys gotta meet.
Listen,
you guys gotta meet first.
We promised in 2022 we're going to do that, but I can tell you, for the McMillan Group, I will help your people put themselves in a credit position, a down payment position, so they can leverage you, Ray, for the mortgage. So I'll put everything, wrap it in a bowl.
I need to
go give them the mortgage.
You know, when that meeting's there happens, and I'm speaking, I'll be there. I want to take a picture, and we're going to show it at the beginning of a show.
Yes.
We're going to show it at the beginning of a show. Good stuff. Look, Aldafina says, I'm trying to do quarterly reports plus wealth assessments like the big companies. I gotta be the change.
Yeah.
And she also says, sadly, I learned from helping an elderly friend through an end-of-life palliative care. I had to start estate planning in my 20s from these lessons. Never too late to start.
Agree. Never too early.
That's true. Never too early, never too late. Man, Wayne, I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to talk to you about today, like understanding where you're spending your money, rethinking your budget, automate your personal finance. I wanted to come with you with all those things, but the family took over.
Listen, I have all of those things, so we can just do another to be continued in February's Black History Month. So maybe
I think that would be great. I think that'd be really good, and we can come with that. But yeah, family, outstanding today. Like like this, big ups. Good look at this, and great stuff, Wayne. Collaboration is key to everyone's growth. Love it. Love it. That is, wow, what a conversation today. Wow, what a way to start off the new year. And I've had this purposely on the screen for most of the conversation, where you can book appointments with Wayne and also email address and Instagram. Now, you notice I've had that on for most of the time. So there's no excuses whether you're watching this live or replay, no matter. The majority of our viewers are in Canada. We have also in the US. He can help you on both sides of the border. And we even had someone from Australia saying, this is value advice. Someone from Australia, family, saying this is valuable advice, and had never met Wayne before. He had never heard of Wayne before, and he said, this is value advice. So, Wayne, anything you'd like to close with?
Yeah, listen, I want to wish everybody a great 2023. I also want to let people know my definition of insanity. My definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results. If you and your relationship with money is not what you think it should be, or you learned it from your parents who were not raised here and don't understand the rules of Canada as they are today, all you need to do to reset your relationship with money is talk to someone who does money for a living, reset your thermometer, and then let's go. I want people to understand that what we're talking about here is not black magic, but it will be intimidating if someone doesn't have the ability to break down complex concepts into language that you can understand. And I think that's one of my superpowers. So again, no obligation. What we call it is a personal financial strategy. All you have to do is use the information that Dr. Vibe has on the screen. Book me for an hour. If after that hour you say, yo, bun this guy, he was trash, then I'll adjust. But I've been doing this a little while, and I've yet to have anyone say, bun this guy is trash. So I would appreciate you entrusting me in full confidence and privacy with your personal situation, so we can walk through and give you a plan and give you 11 months and 3 weeks to win. The sooner we book it, the better, because we can use the rest of January to put the plan in place and 11 months to execute with checkpoints along the way. Dr. Vibe, I appreciate you for giving me this platform.
I learn so much. And look at this. Divine Right says, you will hear from me today. Aldafino goes, thanks for all the gems dropped, Mr. Wayne. I like that. Mr. Wayne, my goodness. Earl says, looking to tap in. Also, Divine Right says, yeah, You were great, Wayne. Thank you. And Wayne
Thank
is
you.
one of the people that use a philosophy. He teaches more than he sells. I want to just have people think about it, especially people who are in sales and marketing. Teach more, sell less. Especially you in this area of money. Hey, I'd say 95% of people I know, we don't understand money. We make it, but teach more. So what Wayne has spent, if you go back and watch this a replay, and if you watch it live, I'd say 75 to 80% of Wayne's time was teaching, not selling.
Yeah.
Teach more, sell less. Teach more, sell less. I'll leave on that. Mr. Harris, I'm going to be sending you some information today.
Thank you.
And as always, most importantly, we are having prayers for your father. Most
Thank you. I
importantly.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All
He
right.
needs
Be
them
well. Keep
all.
the
He needs
faith.
them all.
Absolutely. And remember, as always, remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy.
Will do.
There we go. Wayne is off the screen. And wow, family, you made this fire today. I mean, the questions and I know Wayne had some things he wanted to mention, and I think he got them all in, maybe not to the fullest. I wanted to mention some things, but you took it over and you just drove the ship. Wayne and I just steered it. You drove the ship today. So, pardon me, big ups to everybody here today. Outstanding. And even if you're watching on the replay, huge ups. So, a little bit of things here. So, catching up. If you want to, a number of things, I got to say, there's so many things going on here today. So, we have to do the giveaway. Frequency event promotions calendar. That's wow. We got a pile of people on here today. So let's do the frequency event promotions calendar giveaway. So we'll do it here live. So anyone that made a comment today has the chance to win the 2023 frequency event calendar featuring a number of Black businesses, establishments in the Greater Toronto area. So let's put the screen up. And this is the most people we've ever had for the giveaway. 18 people. Family, I'll give you another 10 seconds if you want to make a comment. But you know what? I'm just going to do it right now. So here we go. Let's see who wins the calendar today. Divine, well, it only makes sense. Divine Right. Divine Right, you have won a frequency event promotions calendar. So what we're going to do is I'll tell you what you need to do. So here we go. So what you need to do, Divine Right, is this. You need to email info@frequencyeventpromotions.com, put the morning vibe in the subject line of the email, and Christopher at Frequency Event Promotions will get that out to you. So that, you know what? It's about time, Divine Right, you won something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right. So a few things before we close out today. Just get everything going here. As always, if you haven't, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and also hit notification button. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook. This Sunday, live at 5 p.m. on Black Canada Talking, Black Canada 2022, Black Canada 2023 question mark, part 2. So I'll be hosting a panel discussion about Black Canada in 2022 and what these people feel is going to happen or needs to happen in 2023. This Monday live on the Morning Vibe, Toronto Mayor John Tory wants to boost the police budget by nearly $50 million, and a large portion of that is to hire more police. What is the impact that's going to have on marginalized communities? Also, I'm going to be hosting a 3-part webinar series on how to start a podcast for an organization called Innovation Guelph, who helps and mentors businesses and entrepreneurs in the Guelph, Ontario area. I'm going to talk about all things podcasting. So there's a 3-part series, interactive. I'm going to try to be as interactive as Wayne Harris. And there is a link on the screen if you want to be part of that. On the bottom, it shows where you can watch replays of this morning vibe thing called on the Dr. Vibe Show. I'm so excited. You can watch on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight website on YouTube. Anything else you want to do today? Let me just say, oh, one other thing. Would you like to promote your business or services on the Dr. Vibe Show, like the McMillan Group does on Mondays? Contact me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So I think we are totally up to date. Amazing. I'll get some last comments in here. Let's see. Dr. Chachi says, thank you, Wayne. Divine Right says, everyone have a blessed day. I have to head out. No problem. Don G says, thanks, Dr. Vibe. Well, also thank Wayne, too. Didn't do it alone. And plus all of the family here today. And also Don G says, great show. Thank you so much. All right. I think we're finished for now. So we've covered everything. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Follow the Dr. Vibe Show. I'll be doing something live on Sunday, and we're back with the Morning Vibe on Monday morning. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith, and walk good.